கண்ணனை கோவலனாய் வெண்ணை உண்டவாயோ வெண்ணை உண்டவாய உள்ளம் கவனானை
Hello and welcome back to Raaga Rasika. This is a podcast program that explores the world of Carnatic music. Joining us from Albany, New York is Vidya Subramanian. We have been sharing with you some of the exciting and interesting snippets we have received from you all, our listeners. Let's move on to the next clip from Shashank Sridhar, an 8-year-old third grader from Pennsylvania. Shashank has been learning Carnatic music for about 2 years and had participated for the first time at the Cleveland Tyagaraja Aradhana at the age 7 and won a special prize in his age category. Shashank has also won in several other competitions, such as ones held by the Delaware Tamil Sangam, among others. Shashank is learning Hindustani music under Sri Bipin Bhatt of Surat, India. He is also learning piano under Mrs. Kathy Kiefer of Reading, Pennsylvania. Let's listen to Shashank.
Thank you, Shashank. What we listened to was the Anupallavi, or the second segment from the well-known composition of Papanasam Shivan in the Ragam Hindolam, Ma Ramanan, Uma Ramanan. This composition is set to Rupakatalam. An interesting and unique aspect of this Kriti is that it is dedicated to both Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. So when we study the lyrics of the Anupallavi, it goes as Mara Janakan, Kumara Janakan. So Mara is a name given to Kama or Cupid, that is the god of love, and Lord Vishnu is believed to be the father of the god of love. So Mara Janakan is a reference to Lord Vishnu, and Kumara is the name of Lord Muruga, and Kumara Janakan refers to the father of Muruga, who is none other than Lord Shiva. And then the composer describes Lord Shiva as Malai Mel Uraibavan, that is one who resides in the mountains, that is in the case of Lord Shiva being Mount Kailash in the Himalayas. And then he describes Lord Vishnu as Parkadal Alai Mel Tuyil Bhavan, that is one who resides on the waves of the ocean. there's a very nice rhyme and flow to this entire composition. And also, the Ragam Hindolam is one of the most popular pentatonic scales all across India. It is therefore an Audava Ragam with the following Arohanam and Avarohanam. Sa ga ma da ni sa ni da ma ga sa ga ma da ni sa ni da ma ga sa. There are a number of outstanding compositions in this ragam. I will sing snippets from a few well-known pieces. There is the Tyagaraja composition, Samaja Varagamana. Samaja Varagamana, Sadhu Khrit Samaja Varagamana, Sadhu Khrit Samaja Varagamana. Sadhu Khrit Sara Sabja Palagana Vikara Samaja Varagamana. Another extremely well-known piece that was popularized by Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi is an Annamacharya composition that has been tuned to this ragam Hindolam. Deva Devam Bhaje Divya Prabhavam, Deva Devam Bhaje Divya Prabhavam, Ravana Surabhiri Rana Punkavam Ramu Deva Bhaje Divya Prabhavam, Ravana Surabhiri Rana Punkavam Ramu Deva Bhaje. Shri Muthuswami Dikshitar has composed a short yet beautiful piece, Saraswati Vidhi Yuvati. Saraswati Vidhi Yuvati, Saraswati Vidhi Yuvati, Samrakshatu Mam, Shri Saraswati Vidhi Yuvati, Samrakshatu Mam, Shri Saraswati Vidhi Yuvati. There is also a well-known composition of Mysore Vasudevachar, which goes as follows. Mamavatu Shri Saraswati, Mamavatu Shri Saraswati, Kama Koti Pita Nivasini, Mamavatu Shri Saraswati. Again, Hindolam is a raga which has been studied and elaborated by many composers and musicians, and we should definitely get back to it down the line for a more detailed analysis.
As I heard you sing this ragam Hindolam across various compositions, Vidya, I was struck by the similarity of this ragam to the Hindustani ragam Malkons. And across the board, this ragam came across as being a lot more pleading in its tone. Is there something in the notes of this ragam that make it appear that way?
To begin, Hindolam and Malkons are essentially the same ragam. And yes, your observation is a very interesting one. There are certain notes and note combinations that are considered to be more positive sounding than certain others. So in general, again, there are many exceptions to this. Notes like the Chatushruti Rishabam or Ritu, Antara Gandharam or Gatri, Chatushruti Daivatam or Dhatu, Kakali Nishadam or Nitri. They are all associated with a more bright and upbeat kind of environment. So typically these are the notes that occur in the Ragam Shankarabharanam, or when you look at Western music, the major scale. So let me sing those notes. The Chatushruti Rishabham would be Sari. Antara Gandharam would be Ga. Chatushruti Daivatam Pada. Kakali Nishadam Ni. And now let us look at some other notes. For example, the Sadharana Gandharam. Sariga. When you contrast it with the Antara Gandharam, Sariga, Sariga. Somehow the lower Ga creates a more pleading kind of effect, which again we find in Hindolam, and the effect is even more stark because there is no Rishabham in the Ragam Hindolam. Again, the Shuddha Daivatam has more of a weak or pleading emotion associated with it. And this is another note in the Ragam Hindolam. Yet another interesting aspect of this Ragam Hindolam is the absence of the Panchamam, which is the fifth note from the fundamental. And typically ragas that have the Pa have a certain strength in the way they sound. Sa Pa, because the Sa and Pa are in a kind of a unique relationship that when the Pa is sounded, it adds a certain strong flavor to the raga. Whereas ragas like Hindolam, which do not have the Pa, have a more delicate flavor. Sa ga ma ga ma sa ma da ma ga da ga ma. So the absence of the Pa makes the raga more dainty and more delicate, so to speak. And again, the Shuddha Daivatam, which I said usually is associated with more of a pleading nature, sounds even more dramatic in the Ragam Hindolam because it doesn't have the Panchamam to lean onto. So if you look at a Ragam like Maya Malava Gaule, which also has the Shuddha Daivatam, but with Panchamam, the Daivatam sounds less dramatic. Pada. Whereas in Hindolam, the Shuddha Daivatam sounds quite dramatic in contrast to the Ma. Ka ma da ma da da ma. And to conclude, Hindolam also has the Kaisiki Nishadam or Nitu, which is yet another note which adds to the same effect. Ga ma da ni sa ni da ni da ni da ma ga ma da ni sa.
Vidya, I have another question to ask you, which is when we were talking about Hamsanandi, which also doesn't have the Pa, you had referred to it as a lighter raga, whereas Hindolam seems to be a much more commonly occurring raga in the concert platform and quite elaborated upon. But however, if I listen to the notes, they seem to be equally flat. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
That's yet another interesting observation that you have made, Devesh. And when I think of the likely reasons as to why Hindolam is considered a much more expansive or major raga compared to Hamsanandi, I think the most critical reason is that Hindolam has been explored and has been around for a lot longer than Hamsanandi has been as a ragam. So when we look at the database of compositions in Hindolam, there is virtually every kind of composition in this ragam, and pretty much every major composer has created numerous compositions in this ragam. And even though the ragam Hindolam itself is considered more of a lighter ragam, there are some really weighty compositions in this ragam. One such piece that comes to my mind is Muthuswami Dikshita's majestic composition, Neerajakshi Kamakshi. So this ragam has been explored in all its nuances by these stalwart composers, and this could be the reason why it has a much more exalted status, because there are many light compositions in this ragam Hindolam. Again, the relatively minor status of Hamsanadi is likely a result of its evolutionary stage. Hamsanadi being a raga that has gained popularity over the last 100 years or so doesn't have as many major compositions as a raga like Hindolam, which has been explored for a lot longer.
Thank you, Vidya, for that explanation. It was extremely insightful. We have a lot more listener-submitted snippets that we'd like to share with you. But let's pause here. Join us next time on Raaga Rasika, where we'll walk through a few more of some of these exciting listener submissions that we have received. To learn more about Vidya, visit her online at vidyasubramanian.com. Write to us at www.raagarasika.com. Hope to see you next time. Till then, goodbye.